Meet Yolanda Hawkins Wright, an entrepreneur, author, community advocate. She is a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. She recently authored the book, The Resistance. Yolanda is an advocate at heart. Her mission is to help other women understand the uniqueness of their lives and family dynamics. This powerhouse stays on the move, as she is also the founder of Stats Free Living, a nonprofit organization with the goal of using public speaking programs to enrich lives and change communities. There's no doubt about it. Yolanda Hawkins Wright is leading the community in the right direction. Please welcome my special guest, Yolanda Wright.
Thank you. So happy to be here. It's always great to see you, Kim.
Oh, thank you so much for hanging out with me. You know, I don't like to waste any time. I like to get right to it, especially when I'm in the presence of amazing. I can't just let minutes go down the drain. I'm hanging out with amazing today. You all, I've known Yolanda for a few years now. We're both a part of we met in a professional organization. And I'm all about relationships. When I started this show, I Need a Session, it was about everybody has a story that is connected to another person's healing, growth, development, and transformation. At any given time, all of us, we have at least one story inside of us. Actually, honey, we have 100 stories or more. And I am intrigued and impressed by all the stories that she offers. She actually is an author. Yes. And the stories that she offers in her book, The Resistance, she collaborated with a lot of women. I just think this is a book of resources. And at the very end, Yolanda, she gives her an account, but I'm gonna let you set this up for our audience. Tell us about, how did you come up with the concept of this book, The Resistance, and how did this powerhouse idea come together for you?
Well, as you mentioned before, I've been working in collaboration with a group of other women, and the idea came up because of so many stories. It was a business organization. We all worked together, and as we worked together as entrepreneurs, there were challenges that we all faced, and we saw that what we had in common was our response to resistance. Because as women, as entrepreneurs, really entrepreneurs in general, but specifically as women, there are different challenges that you face. And oftentimes they find their root not just in that experience that you have, but the experiences that you bring to the table. So as we came to the table to develop our businesses and we heard each other's stories, it became the foundation of creating the book on resistance, just to see how people overcame and got to the place that they are in life, and also as inspiration to continue to push forward in spite of the challenges. That's where the root of the book came from.
Yeah, I love the idea and the journey of it for so many reasons. I actually had an opportunity to attend Yolanda's book launch. And even when I think about all the women coming together and collaborating, because there are conversations where people think there are times women cannot work together. And when I pick up this book of knowledge, this resource, it just automatically knocks that myth out of the box, because they did it. You all did it. You're working together. You're saying her name. And a lot of times, sometimes when somebody is moving past us or achieving more than us, we won't always mention her name. And when I can open up this book and I can find a woman who is doing this and who is doing that, and to have you to be at the front of that, your name is on the front of this book. You know, it's Yolanda Wright. And all of these women had to agree to say, yes, sister, I will help you. Their name is not on the front of this book, and to allow you to lead this mission, you know, that's something within itself.
It was really great working with those women. It's so inspiring. And I got a chance to really celebrate the stories. Women have overcome so many tremendous obstacles. And as you mentioned before, there is the myth that women cannot work together. And I think a lot of times that myth is perpetrated because There are forces that would like to stop that strength and that bond that women can really bring together when we work together. And so we got to see that synergy take place, the inspiration, the synergy, the wisdom from what these women have gone through. I really enjoyed working with them very, very much.
Yeah, so in this book, like I said, you're going to find so many stories. I want to go to the very end of this book where Yolanda, there's a page and a half where you're giving a whole lot in a little time frame, and I love it. And I just want to just kind of go to just read a little certain excerpt here on page 170, 172. When we adopted our son, there were certain facts we knew about him, but what we didn't know about what we didn't know about was us, how we would react to those facts about him when they repeatedly surfaced minute after minute, day after day, week after week, and year after year. We didn't realize how it would impact our marriage, our relationship to our siblings, our nieces and nephews, and to society at large. One of the reasons why I like that, just the vulnerability and the transparency, you offer that, and then you on the next page you talk about how you got through that. Relationships are there's nowhere we're going to go where there's not a relationship, and to be able to arrive at this space where you can talk about just any of it, because when we talk about it, it immediately lifts that shame, and being able to say, yeah, my family had challenges. Yeah. And this is how we got through it. So what was that like to even just start to write about that?
It was very liberating. It was very liberating. So often, as you mentioned, there's this element of shame that causes you to hold things and not express it. And that shame really keeps us separated because we have perceptions of how people will see us, perceptions of how they respond, perceptions of what it may mean to other people. But the reality is, a lot of us go through similar experiences, and we cannot help each other if we're not willing to be transparent. So it was very healing. It was very helpful for me personally as I began to share it. And I've gotten such positive feedback from others who were inspired by it as well. So it was very cathartic in that process.
Yeah. And, I just want to just kind of throw out some of those tools, because I'm all about tools. Tools helps us to be more effective and efficient. And just some of the ways that you all got through family challenges. Despite these difficulties, they got through this turbulent period through God's grace, much prayer, applying biblical principles, refusing to accept the norm, creating a nurturing support system. I'm going to stop it right there and put a circle around support system. Honey, when you got support, oh my God. Come through with the tools, Yolanda.
Support is so critical. It is so critical. There was a African proverb, I believe, and it goes, to run fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you have someone go with you. So you need that support system. You have this burst of energy and you can run and endure one difficulty. That's great. But that's not going to be the only difficulty that you face. You will need that support system. And the value of a support system is you have other feedback, you have wisdom, you have encouragement, you have the ability to look at yourself and realize that what you're dealing with is not something that you need to go through or have to go through alone. Other people may have very well been through what you're going through, and to be willing to share that and to receive that advice, receive that wisdom, it strengthens and empowers you beyond words. And that is what happened to me. As we were going through our difficult time, there was a period when I kept it to myself because there was a lot of shame. And that's why I understand the difference between when you share and when you don't share. Because for a number of years, I held it in because of how I thought it would be perceived, because I thought I was protecting people. Because the story does go a bit deeper than is shared in the book. But when I was able to share with others, it, like I said before, now I'm sounding redundant and I realize that, but I want to highlight the fact that wisdom comes from the multitude of counsel. And if you're the only counsel, you're not getting much wisdom. So being able to get that counsel from other people and other support will help you through difficult times. And sometimes it's one day at a time. But at the end, you have a collection of days to get you through difficult seasons in your life.
There's the session right there. It's been said, sharing is caring.
That's right. It is.
And just one last thing here. Um, I just this part right here. You all have to get the book. I'm just going to read this little part right here. You have to get the book because I just love the way that it is written. It's real stuff. It's stuff people think about these things, family members, even neighbors, when you have friends. Let me read this part right here. I struggled with insecurity, that feeling of not being good enough. I have a sister, bless her heart. She has 5 perfect children. They were accomplished, neat, clean, obedient, and smart. you know, you're gonna have to get the book. I mean, so just by the way, because sometimes we look at somebody else's world and that's what we see. We see perfection, but there's a story behind the perfection. You gotta pick up the book. Before I tell them, I want you to tell them where the book is. Do you want to say something behind that, Yolanda?
About my wonderful sister?
or anything.
And that's so true. That is so true, because we look at the grass, it's always greener on the other side. And particularly when we're going through a muddy period in our life, the green grass looks even greener. Okay. Yes. And so you lose perspective. And it's very important, once again, as you share and talk and have support, to recognize, well, that grass isn't as green and my mud is not as black or as brown as I thought it was. And see, there's a surface area that I can go to get out of the mud. And when you're in the middle of something, it's like when you're in a forest. When you're in the middle of a forest, you can't really see beyond the trees that are clouding your view, clouding your perspective. And having someone else come in and say, you know what, just beyond the horizon is this, just beyond this treetop is this tree house, or there's a cabin that you can go to for shelter. Having other people around you can help you to do that. And when we are in the midst of a situation, our perspective is skewed. And so my sister, as anybody else, did not have and does not have a perfect situation. It's just when we're in the middle of our situation, we lose perspective. We don't recognize that.
Yes, perspective is everything. Mm-hmm. And where can people get this book?
Just go to my website, and it is www.YolandaWright.com/products. Or just go to the website and then you'll be able to access the book.
And I'm going to put that in the show notes, and I'll include a link where you all can click on it directly. Mm-hmm. Before we go, I do want to move to this other amazing work that you're doing with your nonprofit organization. Communication is close to my heart. Stats-free mm-hmm. living. Tell me about this organization.
That organization is a culmination of my life journey, which includes aspects of what you've referenced in the book. As we went through our process with our son and the different issues related to adoption, I began to see how public speaking really helped him. Personally, it was a journey that I went through with a professional organization about 6 years ago. And I saw how I found my own voice. I began to understand me better as I began to work on my communication skills. And I began to see how it affected my interaction with people, my perspective, my goals and dreams in life, and how much that will affect children. Because you have children that I consider like little gifts, little boxes at a gift wrap, and you don't know what they are till you open up the box. Well, children are like that gift. And they are able to recognize at a really early age different things about themselves. But unfortunately, as life occurs, they lose touch with that. Not all of them do, but some children really lose touch. Experiences, things that they're exposed to, maybe restrictions on their life, they lose touch with that special uniqueness, that gifting that they have. And public speaking helps them to reconnect with that, okay? Because public speaking, I personally believe, public speaking starts internally first. You understand you understand the message you have, you understand how you feel about situations. And public speaking helps hone that. And as I was doing the program, I did several voluntary programs throughout the community where I worked with children and taught them different public speaking skills. And the confidence that these children developed just in a brief period of time, it made such a difference in their life. And when a child has confidence, it really fortifies them from the inside out. And I began to recognize how so many decisions our youth make, our children make, our teens make, our young adults make, based upon a poor vision of themselves, a poor perception of who they are, a lack of identity of what they need to do with their life. I wanted to bring something to the community that would help them to identify, hold on, and to nourish that identity that they have. And that's how Stats Free Living began with the program. It started off as a voluntary program, but I realized with the demand and the expectation, I needed to scale it. I couldn't continue to do it on my own. So it became a business. I turned my passion into a life mission. And that is the beginning of Stats Free.
I love it. I heard the theme, I read the theme in your book, and I'm hearing it right now in real time. Understanding who we are, know thyself. And when we understand who we are, it gives us the power to change or justify keeping something the same. And confidence is so important. And being able to take hold of that and nurture that and build that in childhood, adolescence, boy, it makes a difference in adulthood. So I celebrate you for this work that you're doing. How can people connect more to this work as well and learn more about how to get involved, how to donate, contribute?
Thank you so much for asking. The website for the organization is Stats Free Living, www.statsfree.org. And just a little soundbite here. The reason that it's called Stats Free is when we are living in a certain environment and we get limited, sometimes we can fall into a statistical model. And we don't believe people are statistics. We believe we can go beyond that. So just go to our website, statsfreeliving.org, to get more information and to find out how you can be involved and support our program, as well as possibly enroll your children or others in the program as well.
Oh, I love it. I know there's some more work for us to do in that area. Yeah, I see that. Is that your Instagram name right there, at Stats Free Living? If that's how people can start following you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
Okay, be sure to give her a follow. I'm going to give her a follow as well. Yolanda Wright, you could have been anywhere in this world, but you chose to rock and roll with me today, and I don't take that lightly. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much.
All right, onward and upward. See you all next time. Thank you.